#1 seed in the Eastern Conference. There is no doubt entering week number 30 for Louisville City. Richmond outside the playoff picture, but trying to finish on a positive note in the final game of the regular season in the 2017 USL campaign. Hello and welcome wherever you are with Matthew Stubbington, Mike Watts alongside. If you're Richmond, it's just been a struggle to find offense this year. It's why they're going to miss the playoffs for the first time since 2003. But you're looking to Mikey Minutio and this Kickers team to put up a good result on the road to close the year.
Well, you want to finish on a positive note, and Minutio is a great player to do that. He's strong, he's fast, he's got a good head around the box, and also has the ability to finish his chances as well. He's difficult to defend, and he'll be looking to see if he can put the team on his back and carry them to some success tonight for the Kickers.
The team only has 23 goals this year, 2 of which belong to the former Virginia Tech Penn State player. On the other side for Louisville, scoring has not been a problem. Luke Spencer, a big reason why on their end.
I love the way Spencer plays the game. He's a great target up top, but make no mistake, that's not his one-trick pony. He is a great player, gets the ball to feet, finds his teammates, and then is busy in and around the box to get those scoring opportunities for himself. Really talented individual.
10 goals on the season to lead the way for Louisville City, who are the #1 seed, Matthew, in the Eastern Conference. So they're going to host 3 games if they keep going through the playoffs. But if Salt Lake City were to slip up, this race for #2 in the USL really comes into play.
A home field advantage is always an advantage, especially in the playoffs. And Louisville City with Slugger Field is such a unique venue. It'll give the Louisville City FC team a lot of advantages in the playoffs if they're able to keep that seeding throughout.
It's been a useful home field advantage this year. 10 wins at home, which is second best in the East, only behind Tampa Bay. An 11th win would draw them level in that category and put them in the #2 overall seed. For Richmond, the 25th season comes to a close. They can knock off the #1 seed on the way.
Bring your business vision to life with an entrepreneurship MBA from the University of Louisville. Learn from faculty who are experienced business innovators and develop your ideas with the backing of successful and supportive alumni. An affordable investment in your career that helps you to become the entrepreneur you always knew you could be. The Entrepreneurship MBA at the University of Louisville. Take your first step today. UofLMBA.com.
There's a new TV show here in Louisville you need to check out. It's Hey Kentucky. But you know the NCAA, they're going to make some, it's going to be like an Abraham Isaac sacrifice.
Hey Kentucky, we are here in Nashville at the George Jones Museum with the possum and some people behind us, and we're going to talk about the UK game.
Here's what we do. We talk about all the news of the state. That includes Kentucky basketball, but also politics, entertainment. Whatever's going on, we give it to you. 10 o'clock every night, WBNA, Channel 21.
Hi, my name is Susan Rademacher. I'm one of our HR managers here at the Louisville Specialty Center. Parallon is one of the healthcare industry's leading providers in revenue recovery. We need a lot of people to help us do that, and that's why we need you.
Hi, I'm Rashawn, and I'm a support specialist. I've been at Parallon for 16 years, and why do I love it? It's definitely because of the people.
We value your opinion, and we push to promote from within. We work hard, and we have fun.
Louisville City FC on WBNA 21 is sponsored in part by
Commonwealth Dodge, the Tri-State's #1 Dodge Ram dealer, home of a lifetime powertrain warranty. Guts, glory, Ram.
Mike Watts, Matt Stubbington back with you at Slugger Field. The Richmond Kickers will come out in a 4-2-3-1. Marcel DeBellis will make the start. It's just his second start of the season to close the campaign, as Travis Wara did not make the trip. Oscar Umar is back into the lineup after picking up a red card and sitting. The last game, Minutio is the forward in this group. For Louisville on the other side, this is a pretty first-team lineup for a game that you can make an argument isn't that important to their season.
A little surprised that James O'Connor has chosen all of the starting players for this Louisville City FC team. However, why not put your best 11 out? And that's exactly what he's done tonight. Love the way Jimenez plays on the left side of the midfield.
Just 3 goals in their last 4 games, and so perhaps picking up momentum is just as important for this Louisville City side. It's making sure that they secure that #2 overall seed in the USL. Luke Spencer the first touch. Here we go. Louisville and Richmond to close out the regular season at Slugger Field in Kentucky. This portion of tonight's broadcast presented by Plainview Apartments. They are the official housing partner of Louisville City. Milan Roberts running right up to Brian Ownby, who has a history with this Kickers franchise. Smith. Ownby starting for the 21st time. Be a touch to that, and Brayton Schroyer sends it back to DeBellis. Any interest in that cotton candy?
Doesn't look to be going down the bleachers there.
Both these teams experiencing record attendance this year. City Stadium saw a 10% increase for the Kickers. This is their 25th season of professional soccer. RVA area. Louisville over 8,000. Top 3 or 4 in the league. Brian Ownby slid out, and Speedy Williams will take over.
Omar pleading in his innocence, but clearly it was a foul. The crowds have been fantastic all across the USL this season, mate. It's been brilliant to see.
Across that 2 million marker last week with the OKC game on Sunday afternoon. The turnstiles. It's quite the remarkable increase. It was about 1 million 2 years ago, 1.5 last year, and now on the heels of both these teams setting records for their own personal attendance, league breaking through the 2 million barrier.
It's testament to the ability of the players, the skills that the fans are seeing on the pitch, and the love of the game of soccer in the country.
Spencer. Roberts in close pursuit, slid that out for a Kickers team that defensively is actually very good. That's no surprise under Lee Caldashaw. It's just the offense hasn't quite been there. Udai Amora scoring just 1 time. He had 11 last year. Minatillo has now started 7 games, has just 2 goals to his record from the forward position. It's lofted out by Troyer. For Louisville, you know, you think back to March 25th when this all began, and as well as Cameron Lancaster going to be the next Matt Fondy, is Luke Spencer going to be the next Chandler Hoffman. In the end, the whole team sort of taking that focus. Is ball kicked out by Reynolds, and a corner on the way for Richmond.
Well, Lancaster started the season so positively. I think he scored a goal practically with his first touch in the match, and promptly went off with an injury and has been struggling ever since. Spencer came off the bench, played brilliantly, and has kept his place throughout the season.
Kickers corner will take a quick back seat. It's Matt Bolduck, who signed in May. Roberts. Ownby will allow this out, and well, there's Greg Ranjetsing, who, well, he was on the touchline for one of the most iconic in negative fashion games in U.S. men's national team history. He was with Trinidad and Tobago on Tuesday night when the U.S. was eliminated from the World Cup. Of course, he did not play in that game. The discussion on how positive it is that World Cup qualifying experiences occurred for some of these Louisville players. Real topic with James O'Connor, but it's a bit of a unique situation for Ranjetsing, who was born in Canada.
Probably be very bittersweet. Obviously, you want your team to win, but it's also, I don't think it's going to hurt the game of soccer in this country. I mean, we can see again, we've talked about it, the support that the USL has, and certainly the MLS is doing very nicely as well. So it certainly would have been a strange feeling to see the U.S. men's team go out.
Ownby hit this right to DeBellis. Well, it means I can't give you nearly as much about the English national team in the next few years.
Thankfully, the English made it. Certainly have been on the other side of that.
Shove from Del Piccolo. Smith drops it back. Speedy Williams. Turn that over. Didn't put nearly enough on it. Umar pushed it ahead. Minatillo dispossessed by Sean Toach.
Back three for Louisville City FC play so well together. Reynolds, in particular, the center back, has anchored that threesome very nicely throughout the season.
Didn't make his debut till June 4th, 15 in purple. He's bypassed here in favor of Toach, but has now started 17 games. Difficult situation for James O'Connor in terms of how that back line has worked out, because early suspensions to Reynolds and Paco Craig, and you see Morad and Toach play so well, you sort of have to balance everybody out in that back three.
Such a difficult job for these coaches when you have deep squads and finding playing time for everybody, and especially when you're being successful, it's, well, it isn't broke, so I've got nothing to fix. But at the same time, you want to keep everybody happy, and it's achieving that balance that does keep everybody bought into what you're doing as a coach and what the team is doing. At the same time is maintaining this success and consistency of the team on the pitch. At the beginning of the season, I think Louisville was playing more of 4 in the back and then went to 3 in the back, and when they made that switch, the team really kicked it up a notch and went on to the success that we've seen.
Yeah, think about April 8th is when these teams met at City Stadium. Louisville won at 1-0. This is a markedly different team. You can make the argument that both more personnel for Richmond and style for Louisville the course of this year has changed. Holmby sent that back behind and onto Toach.
We'll see how deep Reynolds is there, dropping off, giving the angle of support that's needed for Toach to drop that ball back. Maybe the kickers could maybe take a little bit of a risk up top there and push Minatillo up a little bit, put pressure on Reynolds, take him out of the equation as far as that drop pass is concerned. And it might also be a little bit of what's gone wrong with the kickers, is that they have been so successful defensively, but they haven't been able to take those risks on the attacking side of the ball in order to get the goals and chances that they need.
Ball was bouncing toward Esque. There's Fernando. Paying close attention, but it'll bounce out. Lee throws in. Fernando. Shoved off by Toach. That's a goal kick in the end for Louisville City.
That was a close one. I thought Fernando had actually won a corner kick there. Toach was seeing that ball out, Mike, and then Fernando put his left foot on the ball and looked like he got the important deflection to set up the set piece for the kickers, but the referee said no.
And Joshua Brooks has another problem on his hands as Luke Spencer has a couple of words. On the ground towards Spencer and cleared away by Troyer. Came to the team in 2015 out of their pro combine. Good players seek out Richmond. It's been that way for their 25-year history. All over Omby will come to DeBellis. When you have this structure, Lee Cowlishaw, a great coach, a championship history, players will seek out the best franchise to be a part of. Fernando put a little too much on that, but he will collect at the byline. Stiff arm to the ground by Toach. Free kick to Richmond.
Good old-fashioned defending there from Toach. The ball goes past you. I'm not going to let the player go too. Lovely little skill from Fernando. I think that went through Toach's legs. Suitably embarrassed, the right fullback for Louisville City FC. It's beautiful skill as well from Jackson Eske on the chest control in the middle of the park.
Bulldog. Won by Del Piccolo. And sprayed over Umar. Came out of Villanova. Ghanaian waiting for a ball to come his way. Went to the highly celebrated Kent School in Connecticut, which has a deep running history of bringing players over from Ghana, playing in the collegiate and the professional levels. Long throw in. Bounces to Ranjit Singh. Hey fans, stay up to date on all the latest league news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast, Mondays 9 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC Channel 85. And don't forget that SiriusXM FC airs the USL Game of the Week and others all week long. Check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Right now, Charlotte and Charleston is a big Eastern Conference matchup. Charlotte's in 5th right now, which I'm not sure people saw coming based on where they were mid-season. That's on SiriusXM at the present moment.
The Independents, their consistency just dropped off at the end of this season and haven't been getting the results that they had through the middle part of the campaign. Certainly a big surprise that they've gone off the boil as much as they have, and Coach Jeffries will be hoping they can find some way to get the magic back as the playoffs start.
Jet Singh sought out Ombi, but Lee met that. Away from SK. You know, every team has their dips. It's notable for Charleston. It came during the Gold Cup where Mario Williams was gone. Their fullbacks were out. Charlotte, they dealt with some suspensions and injuries to Jorge Herrera stand out. Louisville had some of their issues with depth mid-season. And for Richmond, it was 14 games without a win, 8 losses, 6 draws between the end of April and July. And that's really the difference. If you're able to find a couple wins in there, Richmond, which will finish 9 points out of playoff position as it stands right now, could very easily be in position to make a run down the stretch.
Absolutely, and it's a game of streaks, and it's how you ride those moments out. But good teams find a way to win when they're playing poorly and are struggling, and that's the difference between being in the playoffs and not being in the playoffs. You and I've seen it time and again. Some of those teams that have been struggling, they've been winning games late or have had the game tied late, but somehow find a way to lose the game in the 90th minute. But that's the difference between the good teams and the bad teams, is that the good teams are able to find the way to get the job done at the end of the day.
And to be fair, Richmond has made it 13 of the last 14 years, this year included. I fully expect it to be 14 of 15 by the time we get to this point next year. Louisville knocked Richmond out of the playoffs last season here at Slugger Field. Through ball is overcooked for George Davis.
Well, defensively, the Kickers are too good and the coaching staff is too experienced to not get back into the playoff picture next year. The squad is deep. It's just finding that 1 or 2 components that were missing from this season and putting that right. And that's what they'll start working on as soon as they've had a little bit of time to digest things and get back to the grind.
Ownby, Spencer. Spencer couldn't quite get around the other side. Sent ahead by Lee. Taken before Fernando got a touch. Toach serves the ball across. It's got a bit too much under it. Lofted out of play by Raul Gonzalez. Should be noted that both Ownby and Davis, the 2 attack-minded wingers, both in 2015 were with the Kickers. And so to a certain extent, we're one of the teams that sort of had their cupboard raided a bit by other teams in the league over these last few years, which comes with that level of success. Ownby, Del Piccolo, Spencer. Count the Minotillo. Morad stepped up to stop Bolduc. Smith will give that chase. This portion of tonight's telecast presented by official partner Sullivan University.
You lose players, talented players like Omby and Davis IV. Granted, it was a couple of years ago now, but it does take a little bit of time to recover from that. Omby in particular is such a offensive threat off the dribble. Both teams finding it a little bit difficult to connect on the all-important passes in the attacking third. Louisville City FC playing pretty good defensive presence in and around their own box. But going forwards, the home team are overhitting some of their passes.
This time the road team overhitting one of their shots. Oscar Umar is looking for his first goal.
Nothing really going on ahead of Omar as far as runs are concerned. The back line dropping off, so why not take a crack? Puts his hand up, says, hey, I've got it. Doesn't have quite enough as far as the placement of the standing leg to lead the knee through the ball and keep that one down.
Reynolds, Ranjat Singh. Jimenez, who's had a quiet evening to this point.
I like Jimenez. He's a busy player down that left flank. Good with both feet. Serves a good ball in on the set pieces. He's one of those players that fills in the puzzle. Doesn't always get all the plaudits, but certainly wouldn't be as successful if you didn't have somebody like him in the lineup.
Hey, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the United Soccer League. More information by visiting NikeSoccer.com. Jimenez serves it up. Oh, that was well done. Kick that out by Yambi.
Huge challenge there from Yambi. If he didn't get his right boot on that to clear away the danger from that brilliant service from Jimenez, Spencer was lurking at the near post, making the run across the face of the goalkeeper.
Lee. Fernando is tossed off the ball. Dangerous pass. Minotillo gave chase. And Williams provides the outlet. Get this out for Louisville. Fernando. Gonna charge forward with it. Tosh shading him to the inside. Fernando still, and that looked a bit familiar. This time went without the whistle.
Tosh maybe getting the benefit of the doubt as Fernando's arms are up high around the right fullback for Louisville City FC. Horrible missed pass from Omby that set that opportunity up for the Kickers, and see the apology from Omby as he realized that his square pass did not find his intended target.
Reynolds ushered that out. Goal kick for Louisville City. The USL playoffs are coming to Slugger Field Friday, October 20th, 7:30 p.m. Louisville City will host a first-round playoff match against who still to be decided. Seats just $12. Call 384-8799. Visit LouisvilleCityFC.com. Right now, they would face Cincinnati in the first round as results stand, and that means that you might not want to wait, if you're a Louisville fan, to go buy your ticket till the game is over when you can buy it now and not take the risk that Cincinnati fans begin to hit the interwebs as soon as this one's done.
Cincinnati fans, a lot of...
Well, Spencer gave that a touch. DeBellis is there.
Cincinnati have great home field, home crowds, and I know that they traveled a lot of fans down to Louisville for the games that were hosted here at Slugger Field during the regular season. Cincinnati were able to beat Louisville City FC at home 3-2 back in July. The last time these two teams met in August on this field, Louisville City came out with a 5-0 victory.
Came right on the heels, perhaps I should say, right before that US Open Cup match with New York. They fell at Nippert Stadium. Too far for Fernando, and Jetsing allows it out. I did speak to a coach in the Western Conference whose team went a couple rounds into the US Open Cup, and he sort of tried to sell me on the idea, hey, you know, it's different in knockout competition, and we haven't had the greatest season either, but, you know, once you kind of get there, the juices start flowing and your team plays differently. I'm not sure if that's how it'll play out for Cincinnati, but certainly that's going to be their thought process entering the USL Cup playoffs. Fernando swung that over and out. USL, one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world. It features some of the game's top talent and its rising stars. Stay up to date on all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com. Give them a follow on Twitter at USL.
The playoffs certainly offer some opportunities for those teams that are lower down in the picture. You finish 8th in your conference and are able to get to the final or perhaps even win the whole thing and come away with some silverware. It's a great moment that perhaps your regular season performance would not have warranted.
Although it was interesting speaking with James O'Connor this week, a lot of Louisville fans are saying East and West. Now there's 30 teams. Is Smith stepping forward? Omby trying to cut back. He keeps the ball still, serves across. Bit too much on that. Didn't quite reach Jimenez. But it used to be you won the regular season trophy because you beat 11, 12, 13 teams in one unified league. You get a trophy for that. Well, Real Monarchs got the lone trophy. Now they're in the West. They didn't play any Eastern Conference teams. Some Louisville fans feel hard done, and James O'Connor did admit he felt that in the future, Fernando going to ground without whistle. And maybe the league will look into that and maybe award a second piece of silverware for earning the #1 seed in your conference in the regular season title in the East or the West, and perhaps in the future in the 3-conference model.
Oh, absolutely. I think you should get some plaudits for being so consistent within your own conference. You can only beat what's in front of you. If you're not scheduled to play any of the Western teams, and there's no way that you can go and beat them. So certainly I think that there should be some reward other than just bragging rights that the team should get for the success that Louisville City FC have had, and for any future divisional champions.
Count me as one who thinks, well, yeah, you get to be the #1 seed in your conference. You host 3 playoff games if you keep winning. But story for another time. Fernando slicing this across, and it's out of play. Esque put a touch to that.
And all those things are great, but it's also nice to have that moment of hoisting some silverware you can celebrate, and it's something that the fans can focus on as well. Both teams still struggling to find that killer blow going into the attacking third. Kickers starting to take a little bit more risk going forwards.
SK. Well, trying to make this turn on Speedy Williams, who locked him up. Easy call there. Joshua Brooks.
So Roberts there trotting forwards as a target on this set piece.
Will be Lee. Spinning in, Ranjetsingh will yank this down. Trying to start it out quickly the other way. Spencer long strides ahead. Menez has left his comfort zone. Ownby. Ryan Ownby cutting that across. Good header one. Kick back by SK. Lined up, and that long pass up the left wing has been overhit a couple of times, which has to be a bit frustrating for Luis Fernando.
He's working hard on this left flank. Had his hands full trying to get past Tosh. I think Chantosh would say he's had his hands full with Fernando as well.
Ownby striding forward. Ownby entering the area, and that's kicked out by Gonzalez.
Braden Troyer there getting back goal side beautifully to force Ownby off of the ball. It wasn't Troyer that ended up getting possession for the Kickers, but his positioning was fantastic.
Williams. He isolated Smith, he did. Smith sent that across. Smith is one of the 5 favorites, according to USLsoccer.com, for Defender of the Year. 4 goals to his credit. I'm looking for a 3rd assist, while he continues to work as a part-time accountant. That ball lobbed into an offside position for George Davis IV.
It's also interesting he's working in the midfield as well, that he's being considered for Defender of the Year.
Well, he started as a right back, and then they went to a 3-4-3, and you call him a wing back, and all of a sudden, you know.
Find a way to get into the attack a little bit more frequently.
I was talking to Bob Lilly this week, who's the coach at Rochester. He says, you can call us 5 in the back or 3 in the back. Call us what you want. Well, for Defender of the Year, I guess someone has to draw a line in the sand.
Well, if you're on the roster as a defender, then that's where you'll get the plaudits, I guess.
And you look at maybe a Joel Johnson, another outside back who plays with Charlotte. Outstanding attacking back, but the true outside back in a 4-defender look. Wow, flyby for Jimenez. Ball out in front, it's chipped across. Well, that just wasn't quite good enough from SK. Perhaps he was waiting for a runner.
You're in the box at the penalty spot, the ball's on your left foot. Put something more on it and try and test the goalkeeper. If he was trying to find a teammate, that was a poor choice from SK there. He was in great position to have an opportunity on net. And Joel Johnson, he's been fantastic for the Independents all season. At one point, leading the team in minutes played. Arguably one of the fastest players in the whole of the USL.
Do you have that stat nearby? Do you keep track of minutes like that? Look at Richmond's last effort up.
You see SK there just asking for the ball. And maybe I didn't get the number of the Louisville defender coming out to put pressure on, but did just enough to put SK off of his shot. See number 24, they just open up his hips, trying to get his left foot onto the ball.
Across the half-hour mark in Louisville, Kentucky, Fernando chipping it through. Flag is down still. Ranjetsing took the cleats of Minotillo. Barking back at the official. Louisville players were looking to the far side AR.
In the run-up play, my gut reaction was that he was offside. Didn't see the flag go up. Minotillo not happy with the challenge that Ranjetsing put in. It's a 50-50 ball. The goalkeeper had every right to go for it. So I don't know why Minotillo is upset with what happened in the box.
Richmond playing their best soccer of the season right now. They're coming off a 1-0 win against St. Louis. Bulldogs scored right out of halftime. Slip through, Ownby. Ownby! Was he fouled? Yes. It's a penalty against Gonzalez.
Great delay on the pass there from Spencer vertically up the pitch, and that's where Ownby's so dangerous, running onto the ball. Defender gets blindsided, Gonzalez. Ownby looked to go down the right-hand side of the defender, went to the left.
It's Tarek Morad, the only field player for Louisville who hasn't scored this year. Speedy Williams scored at Pittsburgh. He was number 17 of 18, and now Morad's going to try and complete the circuit. Well, there's a lot more pressure on this than I think the average fan is expecting. He'll never live this down if he doesn't put it in. Big moment for DeBellis and Morad. Tarek Morad saved, he follows up. Yeah, that'll count. 1-0 to Louisville. Morad almost had a nightmarish spot kick, and in the end, 1-0.
Well, you said there was a little bit more pressure, and he would never live it down if he missed it. He'll be thankful that he got the rebound. It wasn't the best taken penalty kicker in the world. The goalkeeper did well, but couldn't keep the rebound from falling back to the foot of Morad. And he tucks it away. As he kicks the ball, it all seemed very nonchalant from Morad. Not much on the ball, little chip, try to be cheeky. The goalkeeper did well. He reached back behind him to make the save. He actually overdove the initial shot on the penalty kick.
Yellow's on the way. That's Minotillo, who had been arguing with the official previously.
On the penalty kick, DeBellis was just unlucky that he couldn't get back up in time to save the rebound. Credit to Morad not putting his head down after having his attempt saved and calmly putting it in the back of the net.
That was a Kentucky lottery goal for Louisville City. They're fueling imagination and funding education. The Kentucky Lottery. Comes in the 33rd minute from Tarek Morad. He's been with the club since the very beginning, coming over from the Energy out west in Oklahoma City. This is the first time Louisville has reached the pinnacle in the regular season. They've finished #2 to Rochester and the New York Red Bulls too over these last couple of seasons. Spencer sliding that in, and DeBellis got down to make the save.
Yombi did a good job there defensively, forcing Spencer off balance. Good positioning by Yombi, keeping his feet moving as the defender. Spencer going to Yombi's right. The adjustment from the #2. Forcing Spencer to snatch his shot a little bit, leaning back. Wasn't able to put enough power on the ball. Made it easy for DeBellis.
Reynolds, who got the call in the starting lineup, having come off the bench last time out. Paco Craig out for yellow card accumulation. And Menez on the ground. Slipped out by Roberts, and a corner on the way to Louisville City in the 36th minute.
There's that man Ombi again, darting runs in and around the box, giving the back line all kinds of problems as he's been doing all season long. Surprised he hasn't got on the score sheet a little bit more often, but he does so much in other ways as Brian Ombi.
Menez, oh, Spencer dipping down towards the turf, crowd owing in conjoined frustration.
Coming together there, Smith and it was Gonzalez perhaps. See who it was clearly for the Kickers, but they came together a couple of times in the run up to the corner being taken.
It was off the back heel of Minitillo. And Menez pushing forward again. I'll put the brakes on. Williams trying to get by. Troyer making that difficult. Hey fans, stay up to date on all the latest USL news and information from around the league. USL Coast to Coast, Mondays 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XMFC Channel 85. And don't forget that XMFC airs USL Game of the Week and the USL Cup Final. USLsoccer.com for dates and times. It'll be Monday, November 13th. It'll all be decided. Yellow cards on the way. And George Davis has drawn the ire of the official in the 38th. That's his 7th.
SK getting tripped by George Davis IV as he runs by. I think Oscar Omar will be a little frustrated for that free kick to be called because he had a head of steam entering into the attacking third for the Kickers. Certainly no love lost between these two teams at the moment, mate.
Well, I gotta be honest, I'm not quite sure what happens here. Davis was on yellow card accumulation warning, but it's also the last game of the regular season. Not quite sure what that means. Del Piccolo. I don't know if you carry that to the playoffs or you send it to the first game of next season or call it a day because you've elapsed the 30 games, 32 I should say. Service on the way for the Kickers. It's low and Reynolds kicks it out.
Being honest, I don't know what the situation is either, but I would be surprised if it doesn't carry on into the playoffs. Certainly have seen that happen. Yeah, frustration for Louisville City FC, if that is the case.
Oscar Umar has picked up his second yellow of the year in his 14th start. He picked up a red at the death against Orlando City B a couple games back and found himself unavailable for the 1-0 win at St. Louis.
So we're getting a little bit chippy out there at the moment. Umar and Minateo have pretty much talked their way into the referee's notebook. Have to watch themselves the rest of the way. Davis IV trying to take that free kick quickly, but the referee's having none of it. Trying to get 10 yards of advantage up the pitch.
And an update from Louisville City's Jeff Milby, who's calling the game on radio tonight. The yellow card for George Davis will result in a fine, but not a suspension in the playoffs. Ball lined in. Omby did get his head to that and steered it wide. Tosh is racing to the post as well. Jeff does a great job. He's over on 8:40 a.m. in the Louisville area. If you go to pick up a gallon of milk at halftime, flip on for that.
Well, it's good that the suspension doesn't carry over.
Well, on your first thought, if it does, obviously Mark Anthony Kaye is returning from international duty. He was in Saudi Arabia, long flight back for Canada. But would it be a good decision to start him in this game if he were a yellow card away from a playoff suspension? Hey, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the United Soccer League. More information by visiting NikeSoccer.com. Well, the Sleeve Monsters caught up to Jackson Eske. Eske crossing. There's contact there from Minatillo. Spencer bouncing that back. And now Speedy Williams commits a foul in the 42nd.
Players all getting a little bit frustrated. It certainly was a foul there against Speedy Williams. Absolutely not a call to be made on a penalty kick, as Miateo went to the ground very easily under the challenge of Reynolds. Umar seems to be in a lot of discomfort.
Update from elsewhere. Tsubasa Endo has scored twice for Toronto FC2, and FC Cincinnati trails 2-0 in Toronto, I should say in Vaughan, Ontario. And as of right now, it looks very much like we're looking at Louisville and Cincinnati in the first round of the USL Cup playoffs on Friday night. Tickets are available
for now.
LouisvilleCityFC.com or by calling 384-8799. Be at Slugger Field for the USL Cup playoff run beginning Friday, October 20th, 7:30 p.m. Seats starting at just $12. They sold well over 1,000 of the ticket packages for the full playoff run, which included a pretty nifty looking scarf that you're going to need to reach out to the folks Louisville City to try and get a hold of. Louisville's had a handful of scarves over these 3 years, but Richmond over 25, I would think, is probably gone through quite a
collection.
Yeah, quite the series, quite the iteration of scarves there.
You got to wrap yourself up nice and warm, and all of your friends as well.
Louisville 1-0 lead. Tarek Morad had his penalty saved, redeemed himself instantly by knocking in the rebound. There is a free kick on the way for the Kickers.
Great opportunity if Baldock can get a good service in for the Kickers to threaten Ranjitsing's goal, which they haven't done all through this first half. They haven't managed anything challenging.
Baldock left that a bit short.
It's because I said he needed a good service.
Well, he did it again.
Got to beat that first defender, or you're never going to get a chance.
All lined in, and that's going to spin out of play. A corner. Baldock likely be the one to take it. FC Cincinnati, as I say all this, has just scored. Danny Koenig in the 41st. They need a win to assure themselves a good chance of moving out of that 8th seed. But as the number 8 and the other two teams above them who could switch places with them are in action, there's a lot to be decided. Got 2 minutes of stoppage here. Baldock, who last year was in Harrisburg. Wow, what a goal! One time for Richmond.
Almost hear the air go out of the stadium. The intake of breath from the fans here.
Milan Roberts just scored an absolute jaw-dropper for the Kickers.
On the previous set piece, the service from Baldock was nowhere near where it needed to be. This was right where it needed to be. Look at the run of Roberts coming back to meet the ball. And the skill on the volley was sublime.
Oh, that's unforgettable. What a goal that was. It's his first of the year. Slipped up the left-hand side. Jimenez got that past the first defender, but not the second. Speedy Williams into DeBellis.
That was a tester. Pretty much right at the goalkeeper, but it stung his hands. There was a lot of pace on that.
Interestingly, over the last 6 games, Richmond has gone win 1-0, lose 1-0, back and forth. They have not had a game in these last 6 where both teams have scored.
Time for a change, I think.
Throw it right out the window.
Throw it out the window. As loud as the cheer was for the Louisville goal, the silence was almost as deafening when that ball went in off of the foot of Roberts.
Ombi couldn't slip through. Comes to Yambi.
To be honest, when the corner kick was taken, I thought that it was another poor service from Baldock. Didn't see that run back to the ball from Roberts. Then all of a sudden, Ranjitsing's picking it out the back of the net. It was a fantastic fit goal to tie this game up.
1-1 at halftime. And, well, it was a penalty to Louisville. It was a freakish and fantastic goal from Richmond. And, well, that's about fair, isn't it?
It is about fair. It's been a good competitive game in the midfield area. Neither team have really been decisive going into the attacking third. That will probably change in the second 45 minutes.
How about 2 players scoring their first of the season? Milan Roberts, right at the start of stoppage time. Tarek Morad in the 33rd. We'll wrap up the first half. Look forward to the second. Back in a moment from Louisville.
Box combo, please.
At Raising Cane's, we do one thing, and we do it better than anyone else. So why not let our food do the talking? Love in the window. Raising Cane's, only the best chicken finger meals. One love.
Pizza, beer, sports. A great combination. Join other sports fans at Boomba's Pizza and Tap House in Louisville, where you'll find what Food Network says is the best pizza in Kentucky. Incredible game day and social hour specials starting at just $2. With an award-winning menu and one of city's best local craft beer lists. Just one bite, and we know you'll love it so much, you'll come back time and time again at Boomba's Pizza and Tap House, your social sports destination.
When my hair is too long, I don't feel right. But when I get a cut, I'm me again, only better. My tattoo gets feistier. My crazy eye snaps to attention. I become my own Wi-Fi hotspot.
I just downloaded the entire internet.
And trust falls? They don't even scare me anymore.
That pomade really broke my fall.
Get in, get out, back to greatness. Download the online check-in app. Great clips. It's gonna be great.
Life is easy here, and now you can make it even easier with a home equity line of credit from Republic Bank. Even if your mortgage isn't with us, you can get a below-prime 2.99% APR 6-month introductory fixed interest rate with an ongoing variable rate thereafter and no closing costs. Pay off higher loan rates, manage unexpected expenses, or make a home improvement or two. Stop by your nearest Republic Banking Center and talk to an associate today. We're Republic Bank, and it's just easier here.
Very competitive first half. That looks like a Butchertown hat that's being lifted there on the near side of your image with Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts alongside. Louisville and Richmond level at 1. We look at first half highlights. And this game was physical, it was competitive, it was up and down. It was a worthy game between two teams that have a very good tradition in the USL.
They certainly do have a very good tradition. Talented players on display. Got a little bit chippy at times in this first half, and there was Omar taking a shot from distance. A good effort, but just lifting and rising over Ranjit Singh's goal right from the boot.
We see Richmond getting another opportunity forward on this right-hand wing. Put the brakes on, Bulldog. See ya. There goes Jimenez sliding by. And the final effort, a bit off the mark from Eske.
Would have expected a little bit better from Eske, but I think it was a defensive presence. I think, again, it was Reynolds for Louisville City FC coming out and putting the challenge in that forced the shot wide. But this was a decisive moment. Ombi so busy around the box. Darting runs into the 18. Great through ball from Spencer. And Gonzalez got turned around by Ombi. There's the foul. Referee points to the spot.
So Tarek Morat's the only field player who hasn't scored for Louisville, and while he tried his darndest to not score that, Tabelis puts it right back to his foot, and he cashes in the 33rd.
The goalkeeper does really well. It was a poorly taken penalty kick, not much pace on the ball, and the keeper actually overdove the initial shot, but couldn't get up in time to save the rebound.
Then Louisville would have the 1-0 lead. Well, the crowd's really getting into it at that point. Everything's positive for Louisville City. They continue to push for another goal. Played through by Smith. Spencer sliding down, put it on frame, pulled in as they were looking to make it 2-0.
Oh, Yombi there again. Good defensive presence this time from the Kickers. But this was a brilliant moment. Baldock puts this into an area where I was wondering where it was going. But Roberts knew exactly where it was going, and he knew where he wanted the ball to go to. Beautiful volley with the right foot into the corner. Ranjit Singh, no chance.
Milan Roberts, we'll never forget that because he'll probably be on top 10 tonight. Here are the halftime stats. Louisville's possessing the ball. They've put more shots on target, but they haven't been fantastic shots, and Richmond has one fantastic goal.
It is a fantastic goal. Louisville City FC, again, lots of possession, and I like the possession in their attacking half as well. But both teams are just missing that decisive pass consistently into the attacking third. The goal was scored by Louisville City FC the one time that they did get that one decisive pass into the box for Ombi to run onto.
16th and final regular season home game at Slugger Field. They've got plans for their Butchertown Stadium, but for now, this home has been very good. They're looking for their 11th victory at Slugger Field on the year. It's 1-1 at halftime. Back with more after this.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
At halftime, welcome to our USL studios. Storylines abound in the USL as the season nears its conclusion. Record-setting attendance, just one of the many focal points that we could talk about. It's what we do talk about here. With Morgan Conklin, Mike Watts, big milestones over the weekend. At Rio Tinto Stadium, over 8,000 witnessed as the regular season championship trophy was hoisted by the Monarchs. It's just part of a larger milestone weekend for the league.
And the big story of the league is the USL crossed the 2 million in total attendance mark and became the first North American Division II league to do so.
But it's not the league that does it. It's individual teams with their fantastic fan bases, new homes. They're setting records too.
And that's led by FC Cincinnati with almost 340,000 fans at Nippert Stadium during their home games this season. Also, Sacramento Republic FC averaged a sellout crowd each home game at Papa Murphy's Park this year. Ottawa Fury FC also saw 6 figures in their season attendance.
In total, it's 2 million through the turnstiles. It's a giant increase league-wide.
An increase of 33% so far, and there's still 1 week to play.
So the story is about expansion teams rising, teams falling, playoff hopes, some dashed, some just now beginning to find its legs. We're enjoying all the fans that have made it out so far, many more to come. For Morgan Conklin, Mike Watts for the USL Network. Enjoy the second half.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
At the start of this 25th season of Richmond Kickers professional soccer, they set the regular season attendance record at City Stadium with 8,021 fans. A team that began in April of 1995, Open Cup champs in 95, 4 USL titles, a fantastic run, and much more to come. All the best, Richmond. Back in a moment.
Louisville City FC on WBNA 21 is sponsored in part by
Commonwealth Dodge, the Tri-State's #1 Dodge Ram dealer, home of a lifetime powertrain warranty. Guts, glory, Ram.
Sustainable and toxic-free building supply, everything you can imagine for the inside of your home.
I tell you what I'll do. I'll invest $100,000 in your company.
Don't miss Season 3 of Dream Funders.
When you need someone there, call Sterling Heating and Air, the company that cares. With experts you can trust, Sterling Heating and Air has been around almost as long as air conditioning itself. With great service, and our special membership will save you money whenever you need service. We are home care specialists that will take care of your property at all costs. Our techs are certified, drug-free, and we offer the best warranties in the business. Special discounts for military, firefighters, teachers, and police. Sterling Heating and Air, serving you, serving the community since 1907.
Sometimes your eyes can get bigger than your wallet. But at Checkers and Rallies, getting your hands on a quarter pound of juicy all-white meat chicken dippers with a bed of famous seasoned fries for only $2 just takes fishing for a little loose change. The quarter pound chicken dippers and fries box for just $2. Checkers and Rallies,
the official burger of the Louisville Cardinals.
During Ram Power Days at Kentuckiana's #1 Dodge Ram dealer, Commonwealth Dodge Ram. Choose from hundreds of top Ram trucks, like a 2017 Ram 1500 for $21,970 or buy for $289 a month. Busy? We'll bring the test drive to you. Go to CommonwealthDodge.com. Score big at Commonwealth Dodge Ram. A new 17 Journey, just $16,970 or buy for $215 a month. A 2017 Durango SXT, only $29,995 or lease for $289 a month. Commonwealth Dodge Ram, right on Preston and always right on the price.
Louisville City, year number 3. Richmond starting in 1993. 1995 Open Cup champs. Year number 25. It's the conclusion of the regular season at Slugger Field. And we take a look at the playoff bracket as it stands right now in the Eastern Conference. And there are still results that could change a vast number of these scenarios. But right now in the top left corner, it's Louisville and Cincinnati, isn't it?
It is, and for me, that would highlight the first round. That is a great matchup between two very talented teams, and geographically, it'd be a huge matchup as well. So, just a fantastic first round game.
Meanwhile, out west, Phoenix only needs 9 goals to get a home game. For now, they're 5th, and the reigning conference champs are in 4th.
That might be too big of an ask, the 9 goals, but they are a team, like their name. They have been rising recently. They have only 1 loss in the last 5, and really are hitting their stride as the playoffs come into the picture.
Didier Drogba said, well, maybe, let's go out there, see how the results fall. Let's go get 9 goals. Here's a take a look around the USL's news and notes. Josh Cohen, you mentioned Phoenix is rising. 6 shutouts in 8 games in the month of September. Meanwhile, the playoff picture is settled. There are 16 teams that have their ticket to the ball. Where they're going to be exactly where they're seated in the ballroom is to be decided, in part because Real Monarchs and Louisville have already wrapped up number 1 in each conference. The Monarchs are the regular season champions.
So consistent all season long, the Real Monarchs, and quite rightly getting the trophy at the end of the day, but we've already touched on it. I think Louisville should get some silverware as well. Maybe they'll make a case for the USL to bring that in to the picture in seasons to come.
Let's take a look at the MVP race while we have a moment. You could go a lot of different directions with the most valuable player role. Pablo Coffa out of Tulsa led that team from dead last year into the middle of the playoff picture in the West. Chandler Hoffman second in the Golden Boot race. Dane Kelly leads right now in that margin. Enzo Martinez team right now in 5th. And the Rowdies could finish as high as 2nd if the results fall the right way here tonight. Marcel Schaefer, a big reason why.
He is the leader in the midfield for them and a tremendous player. You can make great cases for all 5. Dane Kelly just finding ways to get the ball into the back of the net, even though he's the first name on every scouting sheet. Martinez has been impressive for the Independents as well. Gets the job done, game in, game out, and finds a way to create opportunities for his teammates.
And for Louisville, you saw Mark-Anthony Kaye will come on, the Canadian international. Milan Roberts, the goal scorer. George Davis is on his way out. If he picked up a red card, he'd be out for the playoffs, and perhaps that's why, trying to avoid a 2nd yellow. So Kaye returns from international duty. Here we go, second half underway from Louisville, Kentucky. Richmond and Louisville squaring off for the 6th time in the regular season. Richmond has not won one of these meetings. Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts alongside. This portion of tonight's telecast presented by Plainview Apartments. They are the official housing partner of Louisville City.
Characteristic mistake there by Jimenez. Just see that look to the sideline as the ball drifts past his right boot. Miscontrol.
Esque, and who conceded the penalty previously, Raul Gonzalez. At halftime, Mark-Anthony Kaye coming on for George Davis. It's a substitution presented by Great Clips. It's going to be great. Sean Toach trots ahead. Esque finding a bit of pressure. Fernando stuck his foot out. Well, the attack on here through Smith. Oh, one. Kicked out by Yambi. Crossfield pass. Well, it's brought down well. Chance now for Bolduc. Minatio. Reynolds overran it. That was on purpose.
Very calm head there from Reynolds to clear that ball. Well defended in the end by Louisville City FC.
Well, you misfire on that mental exercise, and that's Richmond with a golden opportunity. Esque is in his second year out of the College of William and Mary. On it again. Thought Speedy Williams had fouled him. Not the case. Mark Anthony Kay takes the hopping ball to his feet. Steps aside, Del Piccolo. Piccolo from Omby sprays it wide right. Smith. Smith one step too far. Fernando. Alex Lee kicks it away. He's played with the Guam national team. Well, Jimenez got tangled up with Bolduc. And there's a little extra after the fact.
Bolduc didn't know what to do. He's sitting on the chest of Jimenez. High boot coming in. They go down together. Should have just rolled to your left there, Bolduc. Instead, he was putting his arm up on top of Jimenez. A little surprised in the end that it goes against Jimenez because there was a high boot on the initial challenge.
Gonzalez, and weaving through that jungle was Ranjit Singh.
Goalkeeper did well to collect that one, Knight.
Injured player down behind the play. Trainer being waved out. So Yambi will try and continue on. Signed in 2009 after being drafted by Sporting in 2008.
Good service in from Gonzalez. The goalkeeper had that red the whole way.
See the captain's armband strapped to that left bicep. USL Defender of the Year as a rookie in 2009.
Pointing to his midriff, maybe the breath was knocked out of him. Ranjit Singh would have had his knee leading as you're taught to do so as a goalkeeper when you're going up for those high balls. So whether it was a contact with the goalkeeper or just the breath knocked out of him when he went to ground, I don't know.
Cameroonian still being checked out here.
Ranjit Singh showing the skills with the juggling as he's waiting for Yombi to get up.
Almost 250 appearances in his USL career with the Kickers. Yeah, I think you're right. It was that knee that got up.
Big old melee of players there, and Ranjit Singh big and strong, the goalkeeper, and just that right knee going up. Maybe caught the defender awkwardly.
Started the year with an off-season knee injury. Didn't make his first appearance until May. It was that loss to Christos FC that even drew Scott Van Pelt's appreciation on SportsCenter before they eventually fell to DC United. Looked at still. Slowly back to his feet. I do hope he's okay to continue on. Few players have a better connection to a city, to a franchise in this league than he does to Richmond.
Seems to be indicating that he has some pain in that back left area of his torso.
You don't want to speculate one way or another, but it doesn't look like he's moving too smoothly on the way out. His card's been handed over. The fourth official, Evan Lee, will come on in his stead. And for Yambi, this will be the end of his 2017 season. 33-year-old move toward the touchline.
As you say, we don't want to speculate on injury, but hope that he is okay. I was hoping it was just his breath that was knocked out of him. But hopefully he will be okay and fit as a fiddle soon.
Kenny Walker has scored for Cincinnati. So that's 2-2, present moment. Wild times in Vaughan, Ontario. That game having significance to this. Tack on through Minutio. Cleared away. Evan Lee played with Cincinnati last year, was the team's most improved player. He's the one who comes on the injured Yambi. Well, this is the problem with keeping track of multiple games. It's Mark Anthony Kay. Kenny Walker scored for Cincinnati, and then Sean Hundall scored for Toronto to make it 3-2 in favor of TFC2.
Well, they're having some fun up in Canada.
They always seem to, don't they?
They do.
All through for Jimenez. That injury to William Yambi leading to a Great Clips substitution. Evan Lee comes on. Toronto has the best in any division in the United States home record points per game in the United States or Canada at the present moment. But it's Tampa Bay and Louisville that are right behind them, along with Real Monarchs. The teams in the East and one in the West, they've made the most of their home opportunities this year. Richmond finishing with a record above 500 at home. And Lee Cowlishaw saying after their game against St. Louis, so important for them to finish the year at City Stadium in a positive way. They really wanted to show well down the stretch, especially with record attendance coming through their gates. There's going to be a fine year, I would think, next year to follow this year's disappointment, as that's hit out of play in by Ranjat Singh.
Obviously, you want to take care of your home field, but also not only because it's a great place to get the points that you need to be successful, but you want to put your best performances out in front of your home fans, so they do come out and support you.
Here comes Luke Spencer, poked away from him. He's never really gotten the motor roaring yet, has he?
He hasn't been found with the supply line, hasn't been there for him. You've got to give credit to the back two of the Kickers for taking that away from Louisville City FC. Roberts and Yambi were doing a great job of stopping Spencer getting too much service. We'll see if Evan Lee can keep that going as well in partnership with Roberts. Conversely, we could say that that is the case for the Kickers as well. I mean, Teo hasn't really had much service up top. I'd like to see him start a little bit higher up the pitch for the Kickers. He comes back defensively a little bit too far for my taste. With Louisville only playing three in the back, I think he could be more of a harassing force than he's been. Put those back three under some pressure as they try and serve the ball forwards.
Spencer, get a touch to that.
Ball was played to his right hip. It was difficult to control, and then Evan Lee with a decisive clearance up the pitch.
Kay was not fouled there. Update from elsewhere in the East that Tulagera has scored for the Battery. Higashi the assist. Came in the first half, the 36th minute. So Charlotte right now not doing themselves any favors as they try to assure themselves a home playoff game. If they don't get a win here, they will be in 5th to start the playoffs.
At one point they were leading the division, and from that moment they haven't gone into free fall, but there's certainly it's been a controlled descent.
'59th minute. Richmond pushing forward. Ball fired in, comes down, opportunity for Eske.
Hand of apology from Eske. Saw ball duck out of the corner of his eye at the last moment, but didn't pass the ball in that direction. The left-footed shot was a weak effort over the crossbar.
Both Brian Ownby and George Davis, former Kickers, unable to score against their former club. Ownby comes off in favor of Richard Ballard. Substitution brought to you by Great Clips. It's going to be great. He doesn't need a lot from Great Clips right now. Brian Ownby might need a trim before we get this thing into the playoffs. There's Ballard. Local product. That kept in play. Chance to make something of it for Jimenez. There's Morad, the goal scorer, back in the 33rd minute. Penalty saved by DeBellis, but followed up on his own miss. Cashed in. Ball lined out in front. DeBellis popped it over Kay. Almost snuck that over his head.
I think that surprised everybody. Ended up being a great service in. Speedy Williams on the ball in. Went over the head of Spencer onto the foot of Kay. He saw it very late, couldn't control his effort. Popped it up, and DeBellis did well getting back to his crossbar to tip that one over for the corner.
Del Piccolo on the ensuing corner. Bounces down in the area and kicked out by Braden Troyer. Del Piccolo again. Oh, got muscled off the ball. That's clean. James O'Connor's arms outstretched. This portion of tonight's telecast presented by official partner Sullivan University. Mark Anthony Kay swerves in service again. Milan Roberts got up. He's got the goal in the 45th minute. Level the score. The purple-clad fans behind DeBellis showing reaction, screaming to the call.
Alex Lee wanted the ball quickly to restart play, and Kay was saying that playing keep away in a different way than he normally does. Adds to all the chippiness that we saw in the first 45 minutes.
Hey fans, the USL playoffs are coming to Slugger Field Friday, October 20th at 7:30 p.m. Louisville City currently slated to host FC Cincinnati. Seats for $12. Call 384-8799 or visit LouisvilleCityFC.com. Well, there are 3 teams that could finish 8th. New York Red Bulls 2, who Louisville lost to in the conference final last year. Bethlehem Steel, who've been one of the real surprises in the East, and well, FC Cincinnati. So you're going to get a good game no matter who it ends up being in the 8 spot. Well, Fernando does well. Pushes ahead up the wing. He's got targets. Reynolds swept that to the side. Pressure from Minitillo as he lofted it out.
Very calmly in the end from Reynolds as well. Whether there was a shout from his goalkeeper or not, Ranjitsingh was at his near post. Looked a little surprised that Reynolds had actually intercepted that ball, so perhaps the keeper did make the shout.
Ballard has won a corner for Louisville in the 63rd.
It's a Louisville City corner kick presented by Raising Cane's.
Jimenez skying up with Spencer. Seen that before.
Milan Roberts, the rose highest, though, the defender for the Kickers, the goal scorer.
Okay. Ballard for Williams. Jimenez going one-on-one. Jimenez rejected back. Holland Piccolo. Outside, Smith. Also make that catch. Hey, soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. More information found at NikeSoccer.com.
Jimenez was trying to take Gonzalez 1v1, little scissor move, dropped the right shoulder, then his outside of the foot skill just took the ball away from him. Thwarted the opportunity for Jimenez to get a shooting opportunity.
And Milan Roberts won that for the Kickers. Came into this year an average age just shy of 24. One of the youngest on the USA U17s. If you haven't seen Durkin play yet, he is something else. He's got a future. Playing in India at the present moment. They've advanced out of the group stage there. A very young Richmond team. Lee Kaldashaw still expected would compete for a playoff position. Saw those hopes dashed over the course of the mid-months of the year. Playing out the string with great intensity down the stretch. James O'Connor pointing to intensity that he hoped his team would live up to on this final night. The regular season for both sides. Louisville on their way to the playoffs, where certainly intensity will be ramped up even more. Question is who they're going to play, because FC Cincinnati has scored again. It's 3-3 now between Cincinnati, Toronto FC 2. Cincinnati can move out of that 8 spot with a result. Bethlehem doesn't play till tomorrow, so if Cincinnati loses, then it's all settled. If they end up getting a draw or a win, we're going to have to wait till tomorrow to see what name's printed on the ticket for Louisville's game on Friday night next week.
All right, keep putting up the graphic as if results stand, and Cincinnati and Toronto FC 2 are trying to mess with that.
Fernando giving chase, and Ranjitsingh dipping back and down to ground, kicking that away. Change on the way in the 67th minute. Louisville on Cameron Lancaster in favor of Luke Spencer. It's a substitution presented by Great Clips.
See him come back onto the field of play. Struggled with injury all season long, had a niggling toe injury that had kept him out for some time.
And Udai Imora has come on as well. Had a breakout season last year. His first touch right there, 14 in white. We'll replace Jackson Eske. It's the second substitution for Richmond. Imora on, Eske off. Substitution presented by Great Clips. It's going to be great. Well, Fernando shown straight red. That was automatic. Everybody was screaming for it. Joshua Brooks pulling the card out of his side pocket.
The referee has issued a shimmy red card to Richmond, number 71, Luis Fernando.
Well, the referee seemed to know instantly, but
when you drop that left shoulder in like that, you have to be expecting your marching orders. Before those substitutes had happened, I was going to compliment Fernando as the consistent bright spot offensively for the Kickers. When he had that coming together with Morad, and don't know what was said obviously from our vantage point, but perhaps Fernando got baited into it a little bit, but you cannot react. That's exactly what Fernando did, and the referee quite rightly sends him to the locker room.
He took the slow clap equivalent of a walk, in truth. Took his jersey off on his way off. Fernando's season is done, and now Richmond will finish with 10. Zumar, who was red carded a couple games back, played through by Morad. That's well defended. Attack still on now. Jimenez falls in the box. Ballard! Oh, Ballard just misfired there. He was looking for his fourth.
Great soccer all around there. Beautiful ball in from Jimenez. Lovely control from Ballard. And a fantastic save from the goalkeeper. An offside off of the ensuing corner kick. De Bellis will be allowed to catch his breath a little bit. Will be allowed to catch our breath a little bit. Great skill from Ballard and a fantastic save from De Bellis.
70 minutes gone between Louisville and Richmond. Milan Roberts responding to Tarek Morad's 33rd minute goal in the 45th. Kickers seeing Luis Fernando sent off in the 68th, the 20-year-old Brazilian. Player down, attack continues the other way for Richmond. Minatillo. Imora wants the ball at his feet. Line drive across the face of goal from Umar. Comes to Oscar Jimenez.
Playing a man down, you got to make better choices than that. Keep possession of the ball when you can in your attacking half.
Okay, well, look for Ballard again. And you get the feeling that this crowd is beginning to really get behind the local kid, who scored twice in June but hasn't done all that much in the scoring column since. Charleston has finished off their 1-0 victory over the Charlotte Independents, who will not move above 5th. Have to go on the road in the first round of the playoffs. Still a lot to be decided here on what amounts to USL Decision Day in terms of seeding. Mark Anthony Kay. Well, did he make that just a throw? Evan Lee's pointing for a goal kick. It won't be. The Rhinos did beat New York Red Bulls 2. Ball on the ground. It's into DeBellis. New York would be above Cincinnati on total wins. Cincinnati awarded draw in their finale in Toronto, so they could move no higher than 7th unless they get a victory. Bethlehem plays tomorrow against St. Louis. And for all the latest on that and so very much more, stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com. All the information you need to know about the most prominent second division leagues in the world. Follow on Twitter at USL with all the goal highlights, including the ones you missed here. A lot of air under this. DeBellis makes that catch.
Everything happening around the league. Twitter might be blowing up with, especially trying to keep up with that Cincinnati-Toronto FC 2 game as well.
I'm still trying to get my head around everything that happened in the Premier League today. Watford beat Arsenal and Crystal Palace scored, which is against Chelsea twice. Everything about that's wrong.
I didn't get to see the highlights or the game, but I did see that the first goal was scored by, for Crystal Palace was scored by Chelsea.
It's a good save by DeBellis. He got just a touch to that. There was no Cesar Azpilicueta to knock that into the Richmond goal, as it might be.
It seemed like there was a lot on this shot from Mark Anthony Kay. Through traffic, the goalkeeper probably saw it a little bit late, scrambling to his left. Did just enough to tip it around the upright.
Del Piccolo. Oh, Morad wants a corner. It won't be given. Goal kick on the way for Richmond, who are down to 10 now for the last 7 minutes. Later on tonight, Phoenix will be playing Portland Timbers 2. Congratulations to the Portland Thorns, who won the NWSL Championship today with a 1-0 victory over North Carolina Courage, former Western New York Flash. Reno Sacramento on the slate as well.
Kane has just checked into the action for the Kickers. Will be checking in, I should say, for the scorer's table.
Lee being chased here by Ballard. Ballard won the ball. Ballard turning. Lee sliding in, toning a momentary mistake. Now Minitillo will slow it up, keep the ball. 10 men Richmond. Crossfield passes. He picked him out. Turn is on for Bolduc. Kicked away from Umar, who remains down. Reynolds. Mora following, and with Umar down. Kicked out by Jimenez. Everybody will get a breather.
The way Omar is reacting, it might be a cramp. Interested to see whether it might change the choice on the substitution here with Omar to the ground. Looked like Bolduc was the player to come off, but Collishaw might make a change in that decision, Mike.
Pat McCann is waiting to come on. Signed after a tryout in February. 27 years old from Long Island in New York. He'll be the third and final substitute available.
Evan Lee at the other end had a really good defensive effort. Had his pocket picked by Ballard. Ballard took one extra touch, trying to create more of an angle to shoot on DeBellis. But Lee recovered his position just quickly enough to block the shot.
I think Bolduc there didn't know he was the player coming off. I'm still not entirely sure. His number flashed on the board.
I mean, he was the original choice, but then with Omar going down, he's on the sideline waiting to come back in.
Well, Omar's going to come back on. What happens next? Anybody's guess. They look like they'll continue on for now, and McCann will come on in a moment's time.
And they're all still looking in the book to see what hairstyle they're going to pick for the next Great Clip substitution.
Oh.
I was struggling.
Yeah. What a segue from Matt Stubbington. Mike Watts alongside. 1-1, 79th minute. Louisville led first. It lasted just about 12 minutes. They're up a man now for the last 11. Marad. Jimenez couldn't take this away. Jimenez. Oh, Jimenez was hit by Lee. Perhaps it should be said that Jimenez ran into Lee. Didn't cede any ground.
Good positioning from Lee, stepping up as Jimenez was trying to dribble the ball and create a shooting angle. I think Louisville City FC have to find a way to move the ball a little bit quicker. They're allowing the Kickers to get back defensively.
Wow. Well, Smith dug in. That's out for a corner to Louisville City in the 80th minute.
The Kickers trying to preserve the scoreline as is. The home team have to move that ball quicker so it stretches out the defense to create some passing lanes to exploit.
Well, McCann now has just entered. And it is Bolduc who's going to come off. Richmond making a move with Lee Collishaw pointing out to the field. Patty McCann on for Matt Bolduc, a substitution presented by Great Clips, where it's going to be great. Oscar Jimenez. Oh, couldn't quite pick out Kay. Circling around Ballard. Again, a lot on that, but it does come to Jimenez. Dummied through by Williams. Now Piccolo for Tosh. Line drive ahead. Enough on that header, 5-minute deal. Shoved off the ball by Kay. Williams lost his footing.
Yeah, Tio can't have any complaint there. He just stopped and lost the possession himself. Certainly there was a little bit of contact, but it was all on the Richmond kicker rather than on the Louisville City FC player. That
Lancaster had that bounce around between his feet. Lancaster was falling away. Launched that out.
There's a little bit more patience in the attacking third from Lancaster. He had players out wide So you got to get that width, stretch out the back line, try and create the shooting lanes, the passing lanes to exploit.
Kay goes spinning down. Raul Gonzalez apparently did get a touch to that.
Kay was asking for the free kick, but I think the corner was the right decision.
Jimenez will serve for Louisville City. Lee got the first head. Smith knocks it back, and it's in. Long-range effort for Louisville City. 84th minute, they take the lead. Oh, it's Ballard. Long overdue. Was it Lancaster had that blast? Does appear so now. If so, 7th of the year.
It looks like it was Lancaster, but be it Ballard, be it Lancaster, it is long overdue. Fantastic effort from distance. DeBellis would have seen that so late, if at all. It was through a slew of legs from that corner kick. Beautifully placed on the ground. Jimenez on the service. All the way across, just bounces around and then beautifully put in by Lancaster.
A Lou City goal brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. Bella sends it ahead, takes over. $9,103 on hand tonight, 500 over the average for the third most attended franchise in the league this year. Home games, about 4,000 shy of the record that they set back in July. Beg your pardon, August. More magic to be had here for Richmond. Well, here comes Kay. Fresher legs came on at halftime. Kay making his cut inside. Kay continuing. Kay shooting. Oh! Mark Anthony Kay makes it 3-1 Louisville.
The icing on the cake, a beautifully taken goal from Kay. Down the left-hand flank, isolates himself against Gonzalez, cuts inside, little misstep. Beautiful drop of the shoulder, a beautiful bend of the shot, placing it past DeBellis. Fantastic effort from Kay.
That was a Lou City goal brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. 3 goals in the last 4 games. Louisville scoring 3 times tonight against the Kickers.
Well, as Kay picked that ball up, Mike, he's running into that left area of the pitch. It was a brilliant effort from him, but as he's approaching that right fullback position of the Kickers, I looked up and saw Evan Lee pointing to runners coming up the pitch, worried where Lancaster was, and that enabled Kay to isolate himself against Gonzalez, and Mark Anthony Kay took full advantage.
Couple collisions. Well, this is still alive here for Lee. Omar. Launched upfield, the foot race is on. Lancaster going after Lee. Lancaster continuing still. Lee got it away. Ballard and Roberts colliding. And there's the flag flying. Official bringing play back. Ballard is fouled.
Great physical play. First from Lancaster, then Evan Lee, then Ballard. And in the end, it was a foul on Roberts.
That's from Cameron Lancaster moments ago.
That was kept alive by Smith, and then it fell to the foot of Lancaster. He took it so well first time. Great job from Smith. Keep that ball alive off of the clearing header from Evan Lee.
Service in again. Ninth minute now. Richmond conceding twice, down a man down the stretch. Ballard continuing still. Ballard across. Two players throw their foot out at it.
Crowd don't like the decision, but there's an infringement against Louisville City FC. I think that second goal might go to the dubious goals committee as far as who actually scored it. Lancaster was being congratulated by his teammates, but the stats show Ballard as the goal scorer, so.
Well, Louisville's Twitter account says that it was a deflection from Lancaster out in front. Opta has decided that it was Ballard. That was my first thought. And, well, that committee's got some time to make a decision, don't they?
They certainly do.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other if you're Louisville City.
And the bottom line is that Louisville City will not care. It ended up in the back of the net, and that's all that matters.
Ballard, Lancaster, couldn't backheel that through.
Ballard certainly has been a shot in the arm for Louisville City FC since he's come into the action.
If you're Louisville, that was the case for the first month of the year. Then a hamstring injury knocks him down a peg. The rookie being closely monitored. I'm sure he's okay. 3 minutes added time. Well, here's Jimenez from Smith. Jimenez right into DeBellis, trying to curl that past goalkeeper.
Jimenez's favored right foot. He can use both, but he serves the ball great with his right. Would have been better served himself that time, just to push that ball into space through his left and have a crack with his left peg. In the end, he tried to do too much with it and made it very easy for DeBellis.
Goals in about 3.5 minutes. The difference maker. Kay after Lancaster. Ballard dispossessed. Justin Hoyt has scored for Cincinnati in the 85th minute. And so as of right now, it would be Bethlehem in the first round. Not quite ready to stick a fork in that yet, the way that game's gone on. Okay, Jimenez, can he get behind? A shove from Milan Roberts on the way. Another look here at the dubious goal committee.
That was a great ball played in. Nice defensive header from Lee. And there's the deflection from Lancaster. A goal poacher's goal, if ever there was one.
Well, I will say that it makes me feel better. Not that Ballard and Lancaster look entirely similar or different one way or another from distance, but man, I really thought it was Ballard who hit that. So our director, Scott Ferguson, and our producer, Abe Aponte, helping us through that, and Alex Iglesias, who queued up the replay. Of a team that's brought you games all year long. Lee sidestepped out, and Menez nods it down to Kay. Of course, for Louisville, the city season continues on into the playoffs. TV will be announced in due time. Friday's game will begin at 7:30 at Slugger Field. Some tickets are still available for that. But it'll be streamed and available on local television as well for Richmond. Their 25th season comes to a disappointing conclusion. Louisville scores twice up a man, and they knock off the Kickers 3-1 in front of 9,100 fans at Slugger Field. Number 1 seed in the East is guaranteed there, the number 2 seed in the USL behind Salt Lake City to host the USL Cup final.
That's a fine job by Louisville FC, and their fans will be thrilled to see them back in action on Friday night.
Over 8,700 on average. We'll see them on Friday. Highlights after this.
Box combo, please.
At Raising Cane's, we do one thing, and we do it better than anyone else. So why not let our food do the talking? Love in the window. Raising Cane's, only the best chicken finger meals. One love.
Pizza, beer, sports. A great combination. Join other sports fans at Boomba's Pizza and Tap House in Louisville, where you'll find what Food Network says is the best pizza in Kentucky. Incredible game day and social hour specials starting at just $2. With an award-winning menu and one of city's best local craft beer list. Just one bite, and we know you'll love it so much, you'll come back time and time again at Boomba's Pizza and Tap House, your social sports destination.
When my hair is too long, I don't feel right. But when I get a cut, I'm me again, only better. My tattoo gets feistier. My crazy eye snaps to attention. I become my own Wi-Fi hotspot.
I just downloaded the entire internet.
And trust falls? They don't even scare me anymore.
That pomade really broke my fall.
Get in, get out, back to greatness. Download the online check-in app. Great clips. It's gonna be great.
Full time in Louisville, and they'll be dancing here again on Friday. Finishes 3-1. Louisville City in front of over 9,100. A 3-1 victory over the Richmond Kickers, who see their season close. With Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts alongside. Full-time highlights. Early going, Richmond had some good opportunities, and they made you think they're not here to lay down.
They weren't here to lay down. They actually played the full 90 minutes, put their best foot forwards. On this occasion, it was Omar putting his left foot forwards, but the ball was always rising as he pulled the trigger.
Omar unable to put that in there. We see Brian Olmbeat racing through in the 32nd minute, and that's a penalty against Raul Gonzalez.
That's what Olmbeat does well, is getting into the penalty box. This wasn't well taken, the initial penalty kick, but Morad scores the goal on the rebound. The goalkeeper, DeBellis, did very well on the initial save. Morad making no mistakes, second time of asking.
It's his first of the year. He was the last field player for Louisville City to score this season. It's on the finale. So Milan Roberts, just 12 minutes later, taking all the air out of the building with a really fine finish.
Well, the service was going nowhere, I initially thought, from Baldock, but Roberts knew exactly where it was, and this was just a sublime finish with his right foot, volleying it into the back of the net. Fantastic skill from the defender.
Move into the second half. Tosh getting it wide, and Louisville City trying to find the lead. Ball hit ahead. Kay, that's knocked over by DeBellis, one of the better saves of the match.
It looked like it was not a very spectacular save, but the goalkeeper had to have good footwork to get back to the crossbar to make the save. Kay saw that ball very, very late. And then this was perhaps the decisive moment in the second half as Fernando, who played really well on the offensive end for the Kickers, got into it with Morad and then throws the left shoulder into the chest of the Louisville City FC player and gets shown the red card for his troubles.
So that's in the 68th minute. Louisville will finish up a man. Comes to Ballard. Ballard thwarted here by DeBellis.
Oh, fantastic save on this. Beautiful touch from Ballard to set the angle for the shot. Left-footed effort. But then this was the go-ahead goal. Ballard scores! No, he doesn't. There was Lancaster. We'll see it from this angle. The shot comes through a whole bunch of legs and gets that little deft touch at the end from Lancaster. DeBellis thought he was offside. He wasn't. And then the icing on the cake. Kay, beautifully done, drops his right shoulder, curls it in past the goalkeeper. Lancaster was up in support, getting the attentions of the defenders, and that allowed Kay to isolate himself against the defender and then put the ball in the back of the net.
83rd minute, 86th minute, and it finishes 3-1. Here's the full-time statistics: possession, shots, shots on target. You go down the list, Louisville City comes out on top, and Richmond maybe a bit hard done on the red card, but this is the statistics certainly bear it out.
They certainly do. There's no lying on this box score, in Louisville City FC certainly were the better of the two teams in the attacking half tonight, and quite rightly the 3-1 winners.
Meanwhile, tonight's save of the game is brought to you by MagnaWave, the leader in pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. Richmond getting ahead, Minitillo going wide, dragging back toward the byline. That cross knocked away, and Fernando on his way there.
An important header there, clearing the danger for Louisville City FC. Del Piccolo on that clearance.
There's your Eastern Conference regular season champion banner. Question is whether or not there's more to be had in the playoffs.
Well, they're not a team that anybody will want to face. So dangerous going forwards. Pretty good defensively as well. They've got so much individual skill, but they put it together as a team. And there's going to be a tough matchup for anybody.
There's a lot of work to be done here because Bethlehem could still pick up points. But Cincinnati will not be coming to Louisville in the first round by virtue of their win against Toronto and New York's loss at Rochester. So either New York, who of course knocked them out of the playoffs last year in penalties, or Bethlehem if they fail to get a result tomorrow.
I'm not sure that Louisville City FC will care who they face. Maybe a little bit of redemption on the line if New York do come to town. But certainly you got to beat who's in front of you, and that's all you can do is whoever they bring in, that's who you have to beat.
Tickets are available to be at Slugger Field next Friday, October 20th, 7:30 p.m. as Louisville City will host their first round playoff match. Seats for just $12. Call 384-8799 or check LouisvilleCityFC.com. For Richmond, their 25th season comes to a close. It was a fine effort on the road, but they fall short of the eventual regular season Eastern Conference champions. Well, Richmond getting a fine goal from Milan Roberts, but it wouldn't be enough. Finally, a goal for Tarek Morad. Cameron Lancaster poaching on the effort by Richard Ballard in the 83rd, and Mark Anthony Kay scoring in the 86th. For Ava Ponte and Scott Ferguson, Alex Iglesias, Mike Watts, and Matt Stubbington. So long, Louisville City, a 3-1 victory over the Kickers tonight.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.